Good evening, everybody. Thank you for attending tonight's school board meeting. Hope everybody is having a great school year so far. Carrie, when you are ready, can you please call roll?
Mr. Baden.
Here.
Mrs. Hopkemeyer. Here. Ms. McKnight. Here. Mr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Stamm.
Here.
I think we all stand to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, item number 2 on our agenda is the Board of Education minutes from last month's agenda. Any board member have any questions, comments, concerns, any changes to last week or last month's minutes? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I so move.
Shelley moves. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Mike Stamm seconds, and Carrie, when you are ready.
Mr. Baden.
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkemeyer. Yes. Ms. McKnight.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Stamm.
Yes.
Perfect. Item number 3 on our agenda is the treasurer's report. Carrie?
Thank you. First item on the agenda is to approve the financial reports for the month of October 2024. Item B is to approve the many donations that we received during the last month for board approval. We are always very appreciative of this. The last 4 of those listed is the Anthony Wayne Education Foundation grants that are applied for by individuals, so those are listed as well. Under item C is to approve the 3 grants as listed. You'll notice in my motion I have a little bit of wording change. It just says, and to modify appropriations in the estimated resources. So when I put something like this on the agenda, I have to go in and add some account coding. So basically, if I add a cash account, a revenue account, and the expenditure account, even though you're approving this, it also is modifying the appropriations and the revenue, or the amended certificate, which I sent to the county auditor. So it was suggested as a best practice that it's worded so that not only are you approving the grant, but you're approving the appropriate reports as well. And then item D is to approve the 5-year forecast. And I'm gonna step over here to the podium so I can look at what you're looking at. Try the new podium over here. So, there we go. So the 5-year forecast is due each year in November, by November 30th, and by May 31st, which is usually an update to the November 5-year forecast. And it's due to the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce. We had our work session on November 15th, sorry. Had this problem all day, just saying. We had our work session on November 15th to review some of the changes that are in our 5-year forecast. Usually our November 5-year forecast would reflect the appropriations that the board has set at their September meeting and then project anything else out. Obviously, it's projecting it out 5 years. It's 3 years of history, 5 years of projections. But we try and put everything that we know now into the 5-year forecast. I feel like at this time, I don't know a lot when it comes to our 5-year forecast. It's no secret with the levy failing that this has had an impact on the 5-year forecast, but at the same time, with the district falling below the 20 mil floor, we are going to see new revenue. How much is the question that I have been unsuccessful in getting? My last conversation with the county auditor was on September 30th, and I've sent numerous emails. I did reach out to Matt Thaw, and I did speak with him and asked him, when we could resume communications, and I was just shared to direct all my questions to the auditor. So I will continue to work on that. I did email and ask for a call, if we could set up a call today, and I did not get a response, so. Anyways, moving forward with the 5-year forecast. Our biggest revenue is in our real estate taxes. And this is where, if the levy would have passed, I could have put in line 1.010 for fiscal year 25. 25 through 29 are projected. I would have put in that number 3.3 because that was what the levy was for. Not knowing what that amount is going to be, and based on the numerous conversations that I've had with other county auditors or their staff, from the work session, I shared that I would recommend that we put in a number of $3 million. I feel we're being conservative. I feel the number's justifiable. I'd rather be, at this point, on the conservative side than stretching ourselves out. So, unfortunately, we don't have a more solid number, but I think that the number we are using is a good number to go. This line also makes up, or includes, our Nexus funds, which those funds were at the Ohio Supreme Court being challenged by the Lorain County Auditor. He was contesting the values of them from when there was a settlement the previous year, or excuse me, in October of 2023. And we do not know any money that is going to be coming from Nexus, but we know there's money coming. We just don't know an amount. I have nothing from anybody or anyone stating what we're going to get or what the settlement is. Back when it settled in 22, before it was contested, they were going to settle at the value of basically 57 to 58%. Right now it's on our books or on our district valuation at 100%, and that's at $65 million. We have in the 5-year forecast Nexus money, but it's based on what we received last year. So we do not put money on our books until we get it, which when we first got or started having the issue with Nexus, we received 1.2 million, 1.8 million, 2.1 million. So thinking we were going in that trend, I had 1,950,000 on our 5-year forecast, and that's when we received $917,000. So that was in 23 when that started, and then they just continued. Last year they paid $1,298,000, so on our estimate is 1,250,000. So, but there's a lot that's broken into that real estate number, but that is the bulk of our revenue. But again, it's anything from Class 1, Class 2, and that includes the Nexus and the increase in the real estate. So that's about it on the revenue side, other than I would like to point out one additional change was in the other local revenue. This past year, the Board of Education implemented pay to participate in the district, and that will continue at this time throughout the 5-year forecast. I will add that the first year on the general property tax, that doesn't include a full $3 million increase because we're only looking at a half a year of collection. So I put in there 1.8 million, which it ranges from 40 to 60%. So that was the estimate that's included. So it's not a full 3 million. On the expenditure side, just trying to get it back from where we were with having all the reductions, all the attrition. We've had a lot go on that makes up this number. If you take last year's number and multiply it what was negotiated for staff raises this year, it would have been $30.4 million, and that doesn't include anything else. And this year's projected at 30.3. But we had over 1.2 million in attrition, but we also had to bring back our ESSER staff. So we were able to pay ESSER staff out of, which are employees that were on staff. So it would be the coaches that went out of the classroom to work in the, I want to call it tutoring. It was the,
Intervention.
Yeah, the MTSS whatever we implemented, I'm sorry, don't know the exact name of that. Those people were our staff members. We took them and paid them through ESSER along with our 6 building nurses. Those individuals were all under contract and had to come back on board, so that was $840,000, and that affected the benefit side as well. So adding that back alone, or adding that back into our expenditures well exceeded where we're going to end up this year. So those reductions have been reflected in there. And that includes the benefit side as well. We were working with a 5-year forecast that had purchase services and supplies and materials reducing at 10%. We continued that going into this year, but it's going to be a struggle for us to try and get to that just because of some of the situations that we're having come up and having to add more purchase services. And that consists of anything like if we have to have a contractor come in for assistance with students, utilities, insurance. I can never think what all these things are. College Credit Plus. A lot of moving parts there, but the purchase service line's a little bit of a challenge. I feel like that's our moving variable there. Supplies and materials, we're just going to flatline at $1.1 million. But at the end of the day, the district, or not the district, but school districts try and operate on what they call true cash days, or how many days can you function with no additional revenue. And the goal or best practice is 60 to 90 days. And our district, with the additional revenue, even though we are ending at the end of the 5-year with the 2.3 million, right up here now you can see line 10.010. Those are our cash balances for the next 5 years of the 5-year forecast. But with that, we do not go, our highest year I think is in 2027, and it's maybe 19 days. So we would have to have a cash balance of nearly $8 million in order to meet that minimum 60 days. Now again, it's just a best practice, but obviously it's not something that we're reaching, and nor have we for a while. It's just having a cash balance would make life a little easier when we see things like $1 million lost in Nexus money that we're not expecting. At this time, the board does not see where we will be making any additional cuts. A lot of people are asking with the levy failing, are we making any additional cuts? And at this point, we do not see that. We have a couple things on the horizon with staffing for next year. Other than that, it's we're hoping to kind of do our best to make do with what we can. And then if we do get great news or any news with Nexus or real estate taxes, we will definitely be updating our 5-year forecast and make that public. So, am I forgetting anything? Because it's been one of those days for me. Thank you.
All right, anything else?
No.
All right, any questions, comments for Carrie on the treasurer's report? I'll have one. Ms. Johnson, I asked you, where are we at in the tax abatement with Mom 8?
Sorry about that. You did ask me that. That has been a popular topic. I've probably
Yes, it
received
has.
6 phone calls, and we, due to House Bill, Senate Bill 33, the school does not have to vote on what they're doing. I do have it being reviewed by the attorney because the paperwork that we received from the city of Maumee was proposed at 75% for 15 years. And at the council meeting, I learned that it was proposed at 100% for 10 years and then 75% for 15 years or something close to that. I do have it. Today's just, numbers are not my thing. But I do have our attorney reviewing that. The difference is the 75% in 15 years applies to commercial and industrial development. This is a residential, so it's a little bit different. And I do not think it applies to that, but I do have it being reviewed by our attorney. As a matter of fact, we were emailing before, and I was hoping he sent me something back, but he has not.
Perfect.
So, but no, it did come to the school. It did not give us the opportunity to vote. I will share, and I shared this before, that I did reach out to Alan Liebenauer and also Patrick Birch, asking if a pilot, which is payment in lieu of tax, or a school donation agreement would be considered, but I did not receive a response.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions from Ms. Johnson? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I have a quick question.
Absolutely.
The grants, how are those like split up and used? The 3 grants?
The OneNet connectivity grant it offsets our internet connection.
Okay.
And the STEM class was an application that was selected. I think there was probably, I think I read like 200 applicants. And I believe, I can't think of the teacher that was awarded. I think it's Waterville, maybe. Rebecca, you any help on that?
I do believe it was wonderful.
I think it was a staff teacher at Waterville. And then the Title III LEP, that is part of our CCIP, and that is for our limited English proficient program, and that will be used. We actually are participating in a consortium with Perrysburg, and we will expend it through professional development supplies and materials that we would pay for, but we'll be able to pay for it through the grant. Since it's less than $10,000, if they wouldn't have agreed to do the consortium, we would have lost those funds, so. But the first 2 are basically per the grant documents. They dictate, it's like restricted funding, and then the Ohio STEM Classroom Grant was something that was applied for and awarded.
Does just one teacher got it, or does it go to the whole Waterville primary?
I think,
Okay. Gotcha.
okay, I can never remember. I know Jamie applies for a lot. Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
Nice.
So they applied for that, and they were awarded that for a STEM program.
Great question. You good? Perfect. Anybody else? All right. If not, need a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve.
Jeff motions. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Lindsay seconds. And Carrie, when you are ready.
Mr. Baden?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkemeyer?
Yes.
Ms. McKnight?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Stom?
Yes.
All right. With that, move on to item 4 on our agenda, Superintendent Educational Report.
With it being November, I'd like to begin with a little bit of gratitude and showing appreciation to those that are so important to us. As we move through the month of November, a time traditionally associated with gratitude and reflection, I want to take the opportunity to express my heartfelt thanks for the incredible individuals who make up the Anthony Wayne local community. First and foremost, I'm deeply thankful for the amazing students that we have the privilege to serve each and every day. Nearly all of our students come to us eager to learn and excel, bringing their unique talents, determination, and their potential. Their efforts are reflected not only in our district's academic success, performing in approximately the top 5% of all school districts across the state, but also in their achievements outside the classroom, whether it's excelling in athletics, the arts, or even in community service. Our students continuously make us proud. Of course, these successes would not be possible without 2 critical groups of people, their parents and our staff. To the parents, thank you for all that you do to prepare your children to learn. You instill in them the values of hard work, resilience, and commitment to excellence. You provide opportunities and experiences that inspire curiosity and nurture their growth, laying the foundation for success in everything they pursue. To our staff, I cannot thank you enough for your dedication, talent, and unwavering commitment to meeting the needs of our students. You work tirelessly to deliver meaningful instruction, to help students discover their interest, and to support them in their growth. You go above and beyond to ensure that our students are not only academically prepared, but they also are encouraged to pursue any of their passions that they may have. I'm incredibly proud to serve as the interim superintendent of this district and to lead such a devoted team of educators, administrators, and staff, and to work in partnership with the parents in helping build a bright future for our students. Lastly, I want to express my gratitude to our community. Your pride in our schools and your continued support means so much to us. Whether it's through attending events, volunteering, or cheering on our students, your involvement reinforces the values of connection and commitment that are the utmost importance to us and our success. As we reflect this month on all that we have to be thankful for, let us celebrate the students who inspire us, the families who support us, the staff who guides us, and the community that uplifts us. Together, we are creating an environment where every student can thrive and achieve to their full potential. Truly believe all of that, and am so very thankful for all that we are able to work with in this community. Along with that leads into the next. I know that people are like, well, you didn't have the support for the levy. However, I am going to share with you some information that I've been working on that I do believe can be perceived as a positive. The levy results right now that stand as of November 5th, those that are for the levy, it's 10,021. Those that are against the levy was 10,099, a difference of 78. Not a large difference for over 20,000 voters. I know that people have had questions about the absentee ballots and the provisional ballots and so forth, so I will share with you what I have up to date. 3,800 absentee ballots were not returned in Lucas County, okay, by November 5th. So they had between the election and the next week to get those in. What I can figure out, and now this is figuring out from the Board of Elections website, what I can figure out is in Anthony Wayne School District, 4,869 ballots were sent out, and by November 5th, 4,623 were returned, leaving 246 that are still out. Those would be figured if they were returned within the time that they needed to be. They will be figured in. They may not be returned also. They may have gone in and voted personally then and so forth. For the provisional ballots in Lucas County, there were 4,426 provisional ballots. I believe, from what I can figure from the Board of Elections website, is that Anthony Wayne only had 26. Those that could vote on our levy, there were only 26 provisional ballots. So there again, we have, about 274 ballots out. We only have a difference of 78. What I will share with you is that on Wednesday, December 20th at 11 o'clock, the Board of Elections will be holding a board meeting. At that meeting, they will certify our election. So we will know at that point as far as if there were any other absentee ballots that would be calculated into the total, and then if any of the 26 provisional ballots will be added in. They have shared with me that due to the number being so small, most likely there will be an automatic recount, and that would be ordered by the Secretary of State. So right now, just to let you know, across the state of Ohio, there were 11 new levies that were asking for new operating money as ours. 4 of those passed, so a 36% passage rate. So knowing that, and that we were only 78 off, makes me feel a little bit better. The other thing that I will share is, if you look, I shared at each of your seats information as far as in the spring, the election results, and the percentage of yes votes that we received in each precinct. Then again, I did that for the fall. You will notice then in the final column, it shares where we did increase our percentage of yes votes in each precinct, which was in the majority of those, with having over 20,000 voters, and in this type of an election, I feel confident and I feel pretty positive that we did receive what we did. Of course, it's disheartening and disappointing that it did not pass. I feel that we worked very hard to be transparent, to get the information out there. I also believe that the levy committee that was representing a community group, I believe that they did a very good job of trying to share information as well. So I guess the positive is that we made progress in my eyes. And we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to gain the support, and when it is time to have a levy on again, I'm hoping that we will be able to continue to make that progress in order to pass the next levy.
I have a question.
Yes.
On here, I do not see Wood County.
I did not have Wood County on there yet, no.
Okay. Is that going to be shared at some point?
I can do that, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on that? All right. Next, I'm very excited, and when we talk about the success of our students, and we talk about their success in the classroom and outside of the classroom and in the arts and so forth, our next presentation is our art department. So if you guys would like to come up.
Good evening. We're honored as the high school art department to be able to present to you tonight a little bit about what we do in our classes, our courses offered, our district art show, some of our student awards, some of the things our students have done when they've gone on past high school and career paths and college choices. Most of our students start with art foundations. It's prerequisite for most of our other arts courses, and so in this class they get a sampling of all the different medium and techniques that are available in the visual arts. But in addition to that, we really try to help them become more competent in 21st century skills. So in the ever-increasing visual language, how to communicate and use that, creative problem solving, viewing and responding to different art through history, and then after that they can choose any of the other art courses that we have in the department. Each of us kind of have our own specialty area that we like to work in. So I teach the 2D courses, drawing, painting. I should have introduced us, I'm sorry. I'm Carrie Flagg. And drawing and painting, if a student wants to go into something a little bit more linear in that route, they can choose one of those. Or 2D design, which is a little bit of a sampling of all the different 2D media that you can use in art, printmaking, multimedia, drawing and painting. And there's some visuals of some of the things that our students have created in those courses. We've also worked with Nature's Nursery and made some cards for them, so we try to reach out in the community and spread some of our art making too. And then we have our 3D courses. Behind me is Haley Kirchner. She teaches those courses.
Hello, thank you for having us today. Like Carrie said, my name is Haley Kirchner, and I'm the 3D art teacher here at the high school. The courses that I teach, along with Art Foundations, are ceramics, jewelry making, and 3D design. As you can see up there, we have a beautiful ceramic vessel made this semester by one of our super talented students. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what those courses are in just a second. So for these 3 courses, ceramics is the study of clay and how to, and they learn a bunch of different ceramics hand building techniques throughout the course of the semester. It's a really cool class because they get to really refine their skills within one specific medium, and it's really cool to see their knowledge of clay kind of grow and expand throughout the course of the semester. Jewelry making is one of my favorite classes to teach. It's based on the science of metallurgy, and it involves metalsmithing techniques, which is really, really cool because students get to make stuff out of metal, and it's a medium that most people don't have very much familiarity with. So it's nice because they all kind of start with like a baseline knowledge of 0, and then over the course of the semester, they all get to learn and grow together, and they can end up with some really beautiful things by the end of the course. And it's nice to see the wearable art aspect of that as well. So really cool stuff. And then the final course is 3D design, which is kind of just like Carrie said with 2D design. It's like more of an overview course of just a bunch of different 3D mediums and materials. They get to experience the different sculpture techniques, design in a 3D space, and experiment with as many different mediums as they can during that time. So it's really cool to see what they come up with and just kind of see their creativity stretch throughout those courses. So, yeah.
All right. My name is Brian DeKay, and I actually believe I've had 2 students at least anyways. I have Ella currently, she's my Art Foundations course, but I teach Art Foundations and I teach mostly digital stuff beyond that. We all kind of put our own twist in Art Foundations, then we roll into other courses. I currently teach computer graphics, digital photography, art and game design is actually a newly proposed course that hopefully within the next year will take place, and that'll allow the students to gain a kind of a low-level art and gaming certification through Unity. So again, they can leave high school with a certification and actually have that on their resume before they even enter college, which would be kind of nice. And I'm also a yearbook advisor. So a little bit of everything anyways. If you look at this screen on the top left, the animations you're seeing kind of roll into a few different courses I teach, because I teach a lot of graphic design, animation, that goes hand in hand with animation and 3D modeling. That'll also roll into the game design course, so newer technology being taught. I teach, I would say off the top of my head, about 7 or 8 different software during the semester. I teach a lot of the Adobe suite, which is industry standard. I teach Blender, which is a 3D modeling software. I teach video editing and other stuff. And then when you think about Yearbook, it's a lot of graphic design software. Yearbook is pretty real world when it comes to that stuff. And down the left side, you see some examples of photo manipulation from digital photography. In the center, it's basically a business portfolio that includes logo designs and business cards that are all one-off. And I've had students, after they leave high school, they actually use some of the logos that they designed for ventures outside of high school in general, to start small businesses or side gigs. And sometimes they even design new logos for their parents' businesses. I've seen that happen a few times in my class. In the middle, at the bottom, that was a student athlete that actually designed a layout for himself in my digital photography class. And on the right-hand side is more for photo manipulation, and that actually earned an award at it was the Jurors Award in the Focus Show, actually, a few years back. So, again, there's a couple different things going on there. It's a pretty good sample of most of the software that I teach. And I guess we'll roll into the awards next, sounds like?
Our college level art course is offered. We have 3 that students have the opportunity to choose, and none of these would need the prerequisite of Art Foundations as they're working on a college level. But one of them is AP Art History, which is a nice offering for the fact that not every student is wanting to make art. So this is one to really learn history, but through the visuals. It goes from prehistoric all the way through global contemporary, and then in addition to that, we have AP Studio, which is more of an independent study for a student that's available if they would like to work independently on creating a portfolio for college credit through the AP College Board. And both of those courses, they have to pass the exam in order to earn a humanities credit, typically from a university. And then we also offer CCP Art through BGSU, and that's 1010. Did you want to say anything about
And
that?
the CCP Art course is another one I teach. I almost forgot. I did a list that I had, but that's through BGSU, and they earn a humanities credit through that also, which humanities credit is a credit that goes toward pretty much any major. Just to give you a heads up on that.
Okay, and then of course our district art show this year will be our 54th annual. It'll be held on May 10th from 10 to 5 p.m. What's unique about our district art show amongst other districts is that it's through elementary through high school. So that's really nice to see our growth throughout their years of taking art in the district. And we also have a senior portfolio section in the entrance where our seniors can showcase what they've done through their 4 years in high school. Typically, we've had around 1,500 to 1,600 works of art combined from all the buildings that we house in the gym for that one day for the community. We also wanted to share with you some of our student awards and exhibitions. All 3 of us are really, we work really well as a team in promoting ways to exhibit their artwork. Some of the ones that we have listed up there are highly competitive juried art shows. Northwest Ohio Focus Show that Brian mentioned. is one that we typically have probably a handful of students make their work into out of hundreds from the area. We've had a couple every year that enter the 5th Congressional District Art Show. The piece you see on the top right was one that actually is displayed in the U.S. Capitol Tunnel. I think that was 3 years ago that for the first time, Anthony Wayne student was given that award. The Governor's Youth Exhibition, the Ohio House of Representatives Student Art Exhibit. We had a student that published a book this past year, and she was just showcased, I believe, on the website, Carly Hemmelgarn. So our students go on to do some things on their own. We promote and help them along with these things. Franklin Park Mall has had some exhibits and some competitions that we've had students, and most recently, and we've had this in the past too, a student made their work into the Fort Wayne Purdue University Juried Art Show. So wherever we find these opportunities, we try to get our students' work out there, and I would also encourage anyone to share with us any other opportunities you know that we can pass along. And then we reach into the community too. One area is the Young Artists at Work program. This is something from the Toledo Area Arts Commission. It's a summer program where students can intern and get paid for working in the community and creating art. And it's a diverse program. They like to pick a couple students from all the different pockets of Toledo area. And they do things like, and you can look for this out in the community, murals. They've done the wraps for the charter buses. And we typically have a student every 2 or 3 years that gets into this program. Only 40 students a year are chosen. And then you want to talk about Black Swamp?
Sure. And in the last couple of years, we've had groups participate in the Black Swamp Arts Festival Rotary Chalk Walk. That's kind of a mouthful. But it's a really, really cool arts competition in downtown Bowling Green during the Black Swamp Festival. We've had a couple different groups compete in the past, and this year they won Best in Show, which is a huge honor, and Best Use of Color. So that was really cool to see their growth over the last couple of years, and it's great that they finally won the Best in Show because they deserved it.
And then we always get sought out for students' work to be used in the community. So we've had some photo murals at different festivals, like the Roche du Boeuf Festival. A couple years ago, we did the Safety City buildings for Waterville. Brian helped out with the White House Fire Department mural. We've done several things with Nature's Nursery, with birdhouses and then postcards. And then we've offered community Spain trips and architecture opportunities so the students can culturally enhance their learning. And you want to talk about digital courses?
Yeah, the digital courses I teach, sometimes the community reaches out. Sometimes we just kind of take on projects and make some proposals. But she mentioned the White House Fire Department mural. You'll see a picture of that on the next slide if I remember. That was a pretty big project and it was a long process. And then the logos, I mean, just as recently as the basketball team, AWHS, we designed a new logo for them and they were put on t-shirts just within the past 2 weeks. So we do get people reaching out to us on occasion because they know basically what we do in my courses, and we'll handle that kind of stuff. On the top left is the fire department mural. That was, because time flies so fast, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, so forgive me on that one. But it was relatively recently anyways. There was a story in the Mirror and a couple other sources, but you can see the mural on the top left. And then the General's ice cream logo, I don't know if anybody realizes that, but that was designed by an AWHS student too. So in case you guys didn't know that at all.
Okay, and then just a little bit of a sampling of some of the schools that our students have attended and some of the careers they've gone into. Art education, graphic design, including my 2016 graduate, textile design, interior design, fashion design, book illustration, fine art, photography, art history, study abroad in some of their post-secondary opportunities, and more. We just don't know all of them. These are ones we hear about.
Do you guys have any questions about anything?
I will share that our students are very, very fortunate to have the three of them as their instructors. When you're talking about pursuing passion and so forth, if you go to the art show and you see the work that they are able to do as high school students and what they're able to accomplish, and actually when they go on to further their education or when they go out into the community and so forth, the work that they do with their art that they, received from their instructions, absolutely incredible. So we do thank you for that and appreciate that.
Thank you, guys.
I will say my daughter has Mr. Decay this year, and she is loving art class. Probably not something she's going to make into like a career, but I think you urged her to like do this clamshell, and she wanted to fold on the project, but you encouraged her to. She's like, he believes in it, so I guess I'll just keep going with the project. So thank you. Yeah, she's enjoying it.
I told Sydney, said hi, I haven't seen her in a long time. She was in your book for a few years. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Next, we'd like to ask Mr. Snyder up. Another area that we have students that have been very, very successful is on our athletic fields and courts and so forth. So he'd like to share kind of about the success of our fall sports.
Thank you, Mr. Herman, and thank you for the invitation to come speak to you tonight. We did just complete, as recently as Friday night, our most successful sports season, arguably in the history of the school. When our first athletic season was 1950, that's pretty incredible what we just accomplished this past fall. The Northern Lakes League, our conference, our league, offers 10 championships in the fall. We won 8 of them. And that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And the one sport that finished second, we'll talk about in a second, cross country, I think that kind of lit a fire for them because they then turned around and set some records that were beyond belief. But with our numbers for athletics, I always try to make sure people know that our numbers are higher than they have ever been. The last time I spoke to this fine group, we were at the highest we've ever been. Now we're higher than that. We are at 406 fall athletes in the high school alone, 298 in the junior high alone. These are a breakdown of our numbers for every sport in the fall at the high school. And what's interesting about this, locally, there are so many schools around us who can't form a JV girls soccer team. We have 3 girls soccer teams. There's so many schools around us that can't form a girls golf team that those golfers play on the boys team. We not only had a girls golf team, they went to the state championship. So our numbers are our biggest problem. But with that said, I know so many ADs who would love to have that problem because we have so many kids involved, 406 in the high school alone, over 100 kids in football in the fall. We do the best we can with all those kids, but again, we're running out of room. I can tell you that, we're running out of room. So 8 championships from the NLL in one season for our teams, and that's where they are up there. Boys soccer, girls golf, boys golf, girls tennis, cheerleading, football, and volleyball. And what I'd like to do really quickly is just mention every one of those 8 real quick. We'll start off with boys soccer, which is coached by a guy in the audience, Brian Billings. Looking good over there, buddy. Boys soccer finished with a 6-1-1 NLL record. They were league champions. And I also want to make a point real quick. Every year they pick who's going to win the league in the media, the Blade, coaches poll, things like that. We won 8 championships. Only one sport was picked to win. So a little bit of fake news there. And with that said, that sport was volleyball. And so Coach Billings and his team, NLL champions, great job by Bills and his squad. And then there was girls soccer, coached by Lori Williams, who once again did a fantastic job. NLL champions with a 7-1 record, district champions, as well as finishing regional runner-up, part of the Elite 8 for the state of Ohio for girls soccer. Then there was girls tennis, coached by Jill Feltner. Perfect 10-0 record for girls tennis. They finished 3rd in the OTCA, which is the Ohio Tennis Coaches Association state tournament. It's kind of a unique tournament that's not OHSA that our kids participate in. That's the back-to-back Final Four finish for girls tennis. And then Mara Boyd, and Cora Langendorfer finished 3rd. They made it to the state tournament. They're on the right up there. Again, our girls tennis team just continuing to dominate everyone they play. Boys golf, nothing new here. Boys golf just won the NLL championship for the 5th straight year. And they finished as well with a perfect 4-0 record. They were also crowned district champions. They missed going to the state championship by one single stroke. And Michael DiStefano represented us in Dayton in the OHSAA state tournament. Girls golf. This was an amazing story. For only the second time in the history of the school, they won the NLL championship, and they finished with a perfect 4-0 record. They also went to the state tournament for the first time in school history. And those are those young ladies up there with Coach Jason Gwynn, who did a fantastic job putting themselves on a map of so many sports that are successful that they have now 100% joined that club in the athletic department. And then there was cross country. I mentioned earlier that cross country did not win the NLL championship, and it kind of lit something underneath them because Coach O'Connor and Coach Smith got on those kids, and they then finished boys regional champions. The entire boys team made the state tournament, and they finished 8th as the 8th best cross country boys team in the entire state. And they also had girls who made, some individual girls who made the regional championship, who set their own PRs, their own personal records with their regional run. Cheerleading, this is the 7th year that the NLL has offered a cheerleading competition, and for 6 straight years it's been won by Perrysburg. Not this year. Coach Dalianis and NLL cheer competition was won by Anthony Wayne for the first time in this format in school history. You can see, I kind of really love this picture. You can see the cheerleaders are putting up 8 fingers because that was the 8th championship that we won this year. So it was really cool to see all of them jumping on board with all the NLL championships that our school had won this year. And then there was football. Football finished a perfect 10-0 regular season record. And when the first football season for Anthony Wayne was in 1950, that's only the 3rd time that we have gone 10-0 in school history. Interestingly enough, all 3 of those 10-0 records have come since 2017, so a little shout out there to Coach Brungard. But with that said, 10-0, perfect regular season just ended Friday night when they made a regional semifinal appearance out there in Bellevue. And again, an incredible season for Anthony Wayne football this year, which just keeps with the trend with what they're doing. And then the last one is definitely the story of the season, and that's volleyball. Volleyball has never made a regional semifinal, let alone a state appearance, and we did both this year. Once again, Anthony Wayne Volleyball finished a perfect 8-0 in the regular season in the league. They have not lost a league match in 2 years now. Coached by Chrissy Graven, district champion, regional champion, and then a heartbreaking 5-set loss in the state championship game to finish OHSAA state runner-up. An incredible job. These girls were just awesome to watch all year, and Coach Graven and this squad, just an incredible job this season. So we had multiple coaches that were crowned our league coaches of the year, and that was Coach Gwynn, Coach Graven, Coach Phillips, Coach Brungard, Coach Billings, and Coach Williams that were named NLL Coach of the Year, which is an incredible accomplishment for them on a personal coaching level. We also had 2 coaches, Coach Graven and Coach Williams, that were named Coach of the Year for the entire state of Ohio. Rarely do we get one of those, let alone 2 in the same season. So a huge congratulations to Chrissy Graven and Lori Williams as they were named Coach of the Year for the entire state. I think very few people understand the prestige and the rarity of an award like that. Again, going to 2 people in the same year, in the same season, is just incredible. Last, I just want to mention Peyton Tully. We get a lot of compliments on our graphics on our social media. Peyton creates all of those. That's just 3 that she made this fall. She's probably not going to do it after this year because she's a full-time college student, and I think she's getting tired of my text saying, can you make an NLL championship banner or a state championship banner or whatever it is. But she's incredible, and we get a lot of compliments thinking that I'm doing it, and I can definitely tell you it's not me. But I just wanted to give Peyton a shout out because she's incredible at what she does. And I think she takes our brand of our athletic department to a new level. Because again, I truly feel that our athletic department is a premier athletic department, not only in Northwest Ohio, but the entire state. We are doing things the right way, and I'm extremely proud of it. And if you need any evidence, just please look at this fall, because it's showing that everything we're doing when no one's watching us, with the weight room and the workouts and the 6 a.m. practices, is paying off in the end with our accomplishments. Trophies are great. We all love trophies, but there's so much more success going on in our athletic department beyond trophies. And I'm beyond proud of those kids and those coaches. So with that said, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. But for next year, we'll see your stick figures for all of our banners and stuff. I'm really looking forward to that as well. All right, perfect.
Okay.
Back to you, sir.
All right, we can go on to the, continue then on. Section B, I just wanted to share with you that we do have revisions both to this year's calendar and next year's calendar. We did have, when the committee met and established the calendar, there was an error in it. They had the teachers reporting 187 days, and by contract, it's 186 days. So we have worked so that it does not impact any student days. We will be not reporting on, in the first week of May, it's May 5th next year, and it would be May 6th this year. But we are, those are professional development days. For next year, though, we're working to, on October 24th, it's supposed to be just a full workday, and that will be a half workday and a half professional development day. So both of those calendars need to be adjusted to basically show the changes that were made, and we'll be getting new calendars out on the website and so forth. We have educational agreements. We just have one educational agreement in Section C, and that is showing the transportation of a student that would be attending our LEAP program. That is due to his IEP, and it actually, the rate that we're able to do when we're able to negotiate that rate with a parent and so forth, it actually is very beneficial both to the parents and to the school. Usually we are able to do that for less money. Overnight trips, you'll be seeing more of these as we begin our winter season and wrestling and the other sports. This overnight trip is for the high school varsity wrestling team to travel to Findlay. They will be spending the night there and participating in a tournament, and that's on December 12th and 13th. So. Last, I would like to ask that you adjust the substitute rate for a food service worker to $13 an hour. I will share with you that Dr. Contat got information from 14 different schools as far as the rate. We were having trouble getting subs in that area. From that, we were paying $11 an hour. We were not able to get people. We also recognized from the 14 schools that he had contacted that we were on the low end of all of those. By moving it to $13 an hour, that would put us basically in the middle of that pack. So that's about the average of what is out there, and hopefully we're hoping that that will be able to get a few more subs in, and we appreciate his work on that. Next, we have the personnel recommendations. You can notice the resignations of several. Oh, I'm sorry, we better take the vote.
You're good. You were in a roll, man.
Yep,
You were in a roll.
There you
I was
go.
going to stop you. All right, any questions for Mr. Herman on Section 4? If not, I need a motion to approve. Shelley moves. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Lindsay seconds. And Kara, when you're ready.
Mr. Baden?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkemeyer?
Yes.
Ms. McKnight?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Stom?
Yes.
All right, now we can move on to number
Now
5.
we will
your
move on to
personnel
Section
recommendation.
5. In that, what I started to say is that we have resignations in there, but I would really like to give recognition to the 2 retirements. We have Todd Heslett. He's been in education for 35 years, and I believe 32 of those have been with Anthony Wayne Local Schools. So he's impacted many students, and it'll be, again, when you're talking about their passions, he works with the architectural kids and so forth, and it'll be hard to replace him. We also have Mark Nell. Mark Nell has submitted his retirement. He has been in education for 40 years, and 24 of those have been with Anthony Wayne. So want to thank both of them for their service and appreciate the impact that they've had on their students that they've worked with and the families that they've worked with over the years.
There's a new rule for retirement, right, through the state?
There is a new.
Less years?
Yes, they actually approved last Thursday with STRS for the next 3 years. They are allowing people to retire at having 33 years in the system. The word is that if all goes well, they are hoping within a year or so to be able to make that a permanent change. So yes, they are moving it to 33 from 34. The other part, when we're talking employment, really you can see in Part B there, we just have individuals that Jared Matten, which he has helped us in another area, in our custodial area before, he's moving to the operations department. And then we've added an individual to help with the cafeteria and playground at White House. Along with that, then you'll see in Section C, we need to do a contract adjustment, and that is for Megan Menchaca. Megan Menchaca is our food director. We have spoken about that. Due to her family and so forth, she is going to finish the year on a part-time basis. We will see how that goes, and we'll assess it as it goes and determine how we move forward after this year. Any questions on that? On Part D, we do have our substitutes. You'll notice that we have both certified and classified. Jeff asked me a good question before the meeting about the difference in those and how we had some people that were both in the certified area and the classified area. Certified substitutes would be working in the classroom. They'd be teaching as substitute teachers. Your classified would be doing nearly all of the other positions throughout the district, as far as working as a paraprofessional, bus driver, food services we were mentioning, secretarial. All those are considered classified positions. We do have individuals that meet the requirements to be a certified sub, and then they also have an interest in helping in any way they can, so they become a classified sub as well. Again, they're pursuing their passions. A lot of times they just want to work with children. So, volunteers, you'll notice some volunteer coaches in Section E. And then you'll also notice in Section F then some limited supplemental contracts. And those are for coaching positions as well. Along with that, then we have supplemental contracts. The supplemental contracts is, again, we have Stephanie Huntley. She is the guidance counselor at Fallen Timbers, and she is attending camp with the children, or she actually already attended camp. And then Rochelle Reagan is going to work as a department chair for the language reading department at Fallen Timbers. The final section is H, and that's contract amendments, and those are as listed. Those individuals have asked to have their amendments, their contracts amended. Typically, that goes along with asking for a deduct in pay. So with that, we'd have items A through H.
Do we have any questions, comments for Mr. Herman?
How are we doing on bus drivers?
We have Teresa, she's out here. I'll let her share that. Would you like to?
We're doing okay. We're doing good. You know, we're hanging in there.
We're very excited. You'll notice in your reports from the principals and the directors, Mike O'Shea is just past his, so he now can be a substitute bus driver. He's been a substitute teacher. He's worked all over in different ways in the district and contributed any way he can. So he's a new substitute that we're adding.
Yep, and now we just added Mike Duchesne.
Oh, okay.
Mike.
Yep.
I like it. Thanks.
We're excited. I think that'll be a great addition.
However, we are always interested in adding to those. So if anyone is interested, they should contact Dr. Contat, and we'll make sure to get them interviewed and on the list.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments for Mr. Herman? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I will move.
Jeff moves. Do I have a second? Second. Shelley seconds. Carrie, when you are ready.
Mr. Baden?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkemeyer?
Yes.
Ms. McKnight?
Yes,
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Stem?
Yes.
All right, moving on to Section 6 of board comments. I'm not sure if anybody else has comment, but I'm going to use my soapbox for a moment, if I can, and piggyback off of you, Mr. Herman. Wanted to thank everybody who voted. Number one, I don't care how you voted at this time. I just thank you all for having that and voting. Thank the staff. Obviously, I know it is a disappointment for sure. We also share in that disappointment, but we are going to continue to move forward, and continue to provide you guys the tools to continue doing what you guys are second to none in doing, from athletics to busing to arts to everything from all the curriculum. So the committee for the levy was fantastic. I really enjoyed the content that they put out, and all the effort that was done was phenomenal. And I agree with Mr. Herman. We are making great strides in regaining public trust. I think that has been kind of lacking as of late, and we hope to continue moving that ball forward. So thank you again. I'll get off my soapbox now. Shelley, go ahead.
one of our responsibilities as a board member is to educate ourselves and try to improve ourselves. And we all got an opportunity to do that last weekend when we went to the Ohio School Board Capital Conference in Columbus. For Mike and me, it was our first time. We were newbies there. Lindsay got to go last year. Jeff's an old hat. He's been there. But I'm telling you what, for somebody that hadn't done that before, it was such an eye-opening, positive experience to go to this. And the networking that we were able to accomplish when we could talk to other board members from all across the state, small schools, big schools, that was great. The work sessions, some of the things that I attended were on parental rights, vouchers, ethics in our board decisions, project-based learning, conducting legal board meetings, a lot of the ethical kinds of stuff that interests me. I went to those. They were phenomenal, great speakers. There is also the trade show, which was fantastic. The stuff that's out there is amazing for education. Of course, they see my badge, Anthony Wayne, they think, ooh, rich school. They all want to talk to us because it's like, whoa, come to us. They had great freebies, lots of things that you could take with you, but so much on security, AI, buildings, for architecture, anything like that, anything that you'd want, mental health facilities, anything that was there. And the thing that got me, the overall section, you get a perspective from other schools, big schools, small schools. And let me tell you something, when you say Anthony Wayne, people know who you are. And it was such a positive thing. Oh, Anthony Wayne, both for academics and athletics, and then the arts, the music, the band. They all mentioned the band. So for me, and then of course, we were there listening to Boomer. What is his last name? Esason? The football player. He gave us such an inspirational speech on the last day. The woman next to me had a Kleenex and she was wiping her eyes because it was magical what he said. It was just so inspirational to leave with that going into it. But I was delighted. I thought it was very much beneficial for me. I know we all had a good time. Kyle, sorry, we made fun of you. That's okay.
And that's perfectly fine.
You were the absent chair, but it was
right.
okay. But it was fun, and I just wanted the community to know that it was well-served time down there. We really learned a lot. So thank you.
Shelley?
Yeah, I'll echo what Shelley said. It was a good time. One of the cool things was going to the Student Achievement Fair and seeing the house system that was going on in Swanton. So they talked Mr. Smith up over here quite a bit when I talked to them. And one other cool thing was being able to talk to a lot of the other school board members in the state. And I think we got some good ideas for getting a little bit better at community engagement, getting ourselves out there, talking to the community and making sure that we can continue to build that trust with the community. So, great weekend. Fantastic.
Anybody else? If not, perfect. Move on to our next item, which is recognition of visitors, but we didn't have any. So then we're going to move into executive session to discuss employment of a public employee. Don't believe we'll have any action after that, so you guys are free to go.
And one thing I will just share with you, if you notice in the executive session, we've kind of set it up a little bit differently in order, as we're talking about following, making sure that we're following all guidelines and so forth and laws and so forth. We've listed all the reasons that you can go into executive session. If we do not go into executive session, those, there won't be any highlighted. If you notice that then the reason going into is highlighted, so it's exactly what it needs to be by law. But we will do that, we will highlight the reason that we're going in if we are having an executive session.
I love it.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
All right, with that, I need a motion to approve to enter executive session.
I will move.
Mike moves. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Jeff seconds. Carrie, when you are ready.
Mr. Baden?
Yes.
Mrs. Hapkemeyer?
Yes.
Ms. McKnight?
Yes?
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Stamm?
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
7:06.
Come out of executive session is what you're starting with.
I need a motion to return from executive session. Shelley, do
Do that.
I have a second?
I'll second.
Lindsay seconds. Carrie?
Mr. Baden?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkemeyer?
Yes.
Ms. McKnight?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Stamm?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
Lindsay motions. Do I have a second? Shelley seconds. Carrie, when you're ready.
Mr. Baden?
Yes.
Mrs. Hopkemeyer?
Yes.
Ms. McKnight?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Stamm?
Yes.
I'm over here, my freaking pencils. Oops.